Hi there, my name is Rachel Texera, and this is my self-reflective video presentation. To start my presentation today, I would like to start with a question, and that question would be, do you remember the first time that you ever gave a presentation? Well, I certainly do. I think the first time that I gave a serious presentation was here at FINM in my trend forecasting class, and I have to say it was 100% awful. Terrible. I was shaking, I thought I was going to be sick, I had to remove myself from the classroom like 2 minutes before we started to collect my thoughts and make sure that I wasn't actually going to vomit. And I got up there, my note cards made zero sense to me, I couldn't formulate a sentence. It was terrible. So that brings me to my next slide, which is my title slide. And my title slide would be, Look How Far We've Come. I thought this was the perfect title because I feel as if I've come leaps and bounds since that trend forecasting presentation. Once again, my name is Rachel Texera. Next slide. So this slide is just a brief overview of the topics that are going to be covered in this presentation and the things that I feel I've learned. I feel that I have learned valuable skills, which I will detail in coming slides. I feel that I have improved, and I feel that I've also learned that I still have skills that I need to continue to work on. Next slide. So, like I said, I was going to detail valuable skills I have learned, and those skills include the importance of preparation, proper terminology, a strong opening, and an impactful conclusion. As far as preparation goes, I've learned that outlines are extremely helpful in helping you formulate your thoughts and prepare a well thought out, well educated presentation. I've learned that proper terminology is also key. It makes you seem credible to your audience. And I've also learned that a strong opening and an impactful conclusion also help your presentation remain memorable and creative and fun. Some of the ways that you can create a strong opening and impactful conclusion are through a quote or an anecdote or a statistic or a question. As far as this presentation goes, I'm sure you've noticed that I used both a question and an anecdote to open my presentation. Next slide. So, how have I improved? I think back to when I had to do my verbal resume presentation and I compare it to where I'm at now as I'm giving this self-reflective presentation, and like I said earlier, I feel as if I've come leaps and bounds. I am more confident and I'm more organized. I think my confidence comes off in the fact that I'm less scripted. When you think of my verbal resume, I was super scripted. I seemed to be like reading right off the page. I've really become more confident in the way that I present myself and the way that I speak. And I think my organization also comes off in the way that I verbally communicate my thoughts now. Next slide. Oh, before I go to the next slide, I used this little picture here that says confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And I thought that that was absolutely perfect. Next slide. So, what must I continue to work on? As you've noticed, I'm still working on my speech fillers, things like ums and uhs and likes. I just did it. While I admit that these are still considered my weaknesses, I am going to work endlessly to try to eliminate them completely, but it is very hard as an American female when that is so ingrained in the way that we speak every day. I've also learned that I need to continue work on making eye contact with my audience. I feel as if I've gotten better at this in comparison to my video resume when I was looking up and down and all around. I feel like my eye contact is more steady and for longer periods of time, which, like I said, will only continue to get better as I practice and use these skills going forward in my next classes. Next slide. So to sum everything up, I think that practice really does make perfect, and when giving future presentations, I'm really going to try to take the things that I've learned in this class forward and practice them and make them better. I will continue to outline and organize my thoughts. I will use coordinating terminology with my presentation topics to remain credible. I will remember to use an attention grabber to be innovative and also make my presentations more memorable. I will focus on not using speech fillers, which will be the most difficult one, and I will remember to make eye contact with my audience as much as possible. To end my presentation today, I would like to end with a quote, and that quote would be, there are 3 things to aim at in public speaking. First, to get into your subject, then to get into your subject yourself, And lastly, to get your subject into the heart of your audience. And that is a quote by Alexander Gregg. Thank you for listening.